leading an organization whose mandate is to deliver quality basic education to all school age through formal education and extending even beyond through the alternative learning system during this height of public health emergency is really tough and challenging. However, such challenges lightens because I have a strong team comprised by SDS Robert Mangaliman, Chief Marilu Orbe, Chief Maribel Ruedas, and the section and unit heads who are with me orchestrating the best blend of teamwork between and among the functional divisions, sections, and units in my Deped Catbalogan City family. They are independently carrying out their roles and functions, synchronously directed toward our common goals, as documented in our division emergency roadmap for school year 2020-2021. Under the inspiring empowerment of our leaders in the regional office, RD Ramiro Oitico and ARD Arnolfo Balani, and the determination powerfully infused by the motherly yet brave Secretary of Education, the Honorable Leonor Magtulis Briones. As Deped Catbalogan prepares for the opening of school year 2020-2021, may I remind everyone that the health, safety, and well-being of our learners, school officials, teachers, and non-teaching personnel remains our utmost priority. Thus, our enrollment modalities for the first 2 weeks this June are solely remote with 4 options to select from, and the last recourse is the 5th option, which is physical enrollment. But this would happen starting the 3rd week of June, strictly observing all minimum health standards and protocols. The school's division office, together with all the schools in the entire city, announced these enrollment modalities through varied printed advocacy materials and social media platforms so that all our valued parents and learners are guided accordingly. As a mother, I understand the anxieties and fears of some parents and guardians who may be thinking of not enrolling their children until a vaccine comes. But it is gratifying to note that majority of the parents have already enrolled their children and are determined to enroll them, believing that this is the best way to prepare the youth to the real battle called life.
Just noontime of yesterday, Deped Secretary Leonor Magtulis Briones announced the latest development, thanking the President for reiterating the national government's willingness to assist Deped in its endeavor to offer alternatives to face-to-face learning despite the public health situation. She stressed that Deped will comply with the President's directive to postpone face-to-face classes until a vaccine is available. With this, Deped Catbalogan City is all the way supporting our schools, preparing ourselves for this mission. It is indeed a challenging task for us to prepare our schools in a different setup, but we are one with our Secretary and our regional director committed to our duty to make education available even in the most difficult circumstances. Deped Catbalogan is fully engaged in preparing our operations as is spelled out in our KRE-based division emergency roadmap, where possible risks and challenges brought by this pandemic are properly assessed with corresponding contingency responses just to ensure the needed support services for our schools in operationalizing continuity of education amid the pandemic. Anchored in our division emergency roadmap, our schools are likewise preparing their respective learning continuity plan, coming up with the best suited learning delivery modalities, giving way to distance learning with its three variants. The first is Modular Distance Learning or MDL. This would use developed self-learning modules that our very own Curriculum Implementation Division is working on, including those to be provided by the Regional Office and Central Office. The modules will be distributed to all learners, strictly observing the minimum health standards and protocols. For those learners with no devices and no internet connectivity, they would be given hard copies of the modules. For the reproduction of the modules in hard copies, our schools would be supported through the provision of risograph machines. With the special education funds, we would procure 2 units. Then the city government, upon the recommendation of Honorable Stephanie Oitan, allows our schools to use their 2 units, and Samar National School, who has a risograph machine of their own, is willing to share this to other schools in the district. So all in all, we have 5 risograph machines to be used by the 10 districts. Thus, each machine would cater 2 districts each. Therefore, all schools in the entire Catbalogan would be properly assisted in the reproduction of the modules. Their monthly school OOE is programmed through the school operating budget template, where the procurement of toners and bond papers for the reproduction of modules would be given priority next to their mandatory expenses. Moreover, there are also learners with devices at home, like laptops, desktops, and TV sets with USB port, but no internet connectivity. So they will be provided with e-copies of the learning modules and CDs or USBs, like interactive and inclusive ebooks and other offline content formats. I am happy to announce that the local school board, through the special education funds, would provide 57 TV sets for our learners. Another variant of distance learning that is designed to reinforce the learning sessions is the radio-based instruction or RBI. This would happen from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the afternoon from Mondays to Fridays. Select master teachers per learning area across grade levels would be assigned to facilitate select lessons on air with our partner DYMS Catbalogan. Airtime fees would be charged to special education funds courtesy of the local school board. This reinforcement strategy would develop the macro skills of our learners, especially listening skills. So the e-copies of the modules would be converted to radio-based lessons or radio scripts under the expertise and process ownership of the Curriculum Implementation Division. Schedules of learning areas per grade level that would be played on air would be advocated accordingly.
With this, let me take this opportunity to advocate the general mechanism that we are providing for our schools as to the most viable and realistic response on learning delivery during the pandemic. Scanning the situation in Catbalogan as a whole, this office highlighted our capacity to deliver instruction in our division emergency roadmap that the schools may exactly adopt or adapt with certain modifications to fit and address the respective context. On the other hand, the very hot and latest trend of learning delivery, which is called online distance learning or ODL, would remain to be our target to be strengthened. This is for the fact that the results of a survey conducted on the readiness to online distance learning shows a very thin percentage in terms of readiness context of the 58 public schools, our 1,073 teachers and their homes, and more so, our more or less 31,000 learners. If this small percentage may have the internet access, the stability of the internet signal during class days is the next concern. So while we collectively push and work out for stronger internet supply in our locality and the gradual acquisition of the needed gadgets for our learners for the next few years, this online distance learning would serve as an enrichment strategy meanwhile this school year 2020-2021. Imagining the would-be scenarios this school year 2020-2021, education delivery is indeed challenging, but we are determined and energized, knowing that it takes the entire Catbalogan City, the whole Region 8, and the whole country to educate every child. We are assured that we can execute the implementing measures stipulated in our division emergency roadmap because the collective capacity of my internal team even grows exponentially through the countless support of the stakeholders and partners whose hearts beat with us for this common cause. I sincerely thank our stakeholders and partners who are determined to journey with us in implementing our emergency roadmap. I do sincerely offer our office for another stronger partnerships this school year 2020-2021 to the City Government of Catbalogan through the very passionate and young City Mayor, the Honorable Dexter Uy, Vice Mayor Honorable Koyfrido Uy, the City Councilors through the Chairman and Education Committee, the Honorable Stephanie Oitan, all the barangay captains of the 57 barangays of Catbalogan, headed by the ABC President, the Honorable Edward Uy, all our valued national government agency partners, industry partners, private stakeholders, thank you very much to everyone. With all of us joining our hands, reinforcing our manpower, and merging our resources together, I would say that while COVID-19 is said to be a life-changing event, we shall never allow it to kill the dreams of our learners. Education must continue, as very well said by Secretary Briones and reinforced by RDO Tico, who emphasized true service to change the educational landscape for children, even at this most difficult times of disaster. We can't just wait and see. Amidst the pandemic, in a spirit of bayanihan, and in line with the goals of Edu Catbalogan. With my team, let us together tailor fit a safe back to school suited for all our Catbaloganon learners. Kaya